Well, hey there guys. No, this is not a clickbait video. If you have not heard, there is a new Binding of Isaac Rebirth DLC coming your way sometime soon. It's not going to be, next week, but it's going to be likely beginning of next year if I had to bet, although there is no release date yet. The Binding of Isaac Repentance is coming your way. I know that Edmund had said that Afterbirth Plus was going to be the final DLC. Well, he blatantly lied to everybody, and there is a new DLC coming, and it is Anti-Birth. It is literally Anti-Birth in every single way. It's currently playable at PAX West, for any of you that know what PAX is, and some stuff has been being leaked from there, and then Ed kind of just confirmed it on Twitter earlier today, that it is indeed Anti-Birth, basically in full. It's going to be all of Anti-Birth combined with some more stuff as well. Likely that includes whatever update they were working on for Anti-Birth. It's probably why we haven't heard a lot of information about the update to Anti-Birth that we had kind of been looking forward to and had heard about. It's likely because it was being ported to Afterbirth Plus at that time. They've kind of kept this on the down low. This is insanely exciting for a multitude of reasons. I'm going to talk about what I know about it, what has been leaked, some stuff like that. As you can see here, you can kind of see what they had originally leaked on Twitter. This was straight from the company that produces Isaac, so you know that this is an official DLC. That's been confirmed over and over. It will be a paid DLC as well, which I know you're probably like, oh, another paid DLC, but for those that don't know what Anti-Birth is and have never seen it before, this is larger than probably all of Afterbirth Plus and Afterbirth combined. So this is a huge DLC, and Ed has confirmed that it's a beefy DLC. I mean, you're talking like 10 extra floors to the game, a multitude of bosses, tons of items, a final boss. Like, there's a lot in that mod that is out there. So let's kind of start from the beginning. This is what they released on Twitter. Everyone kind of started to speculate because I'll throw up what the Anti-Birth logo looks like. It obviously looks very similar. Everyone from the beginning was going, wow, this is going to be Anti-Birth. It's pretty sick. Then they released this little gameplay snippet, and there's a couple things that we can kind of glean from this. So there's going to be a new variant of the Downpour floor, which some of you probably know if you played Anti-Birth. There's going to be Downpour and there's going to be Dross. And we're assuming that Dross is kind of just a alternate floor, kind of like how Burning Basement is and the Flooded Cave, something like that. But it looks really, really sick. As you can see, some really fantastic art. That's something that I loved about Anti-Birth when I played it, is the artwork and music in it is phenomenal. And they have said that they're not going to be using the Anti-Birth soundtrack that was originally in the game. They will be making their own new soundtrack using, I forget who the company is that they work with on that, but the person that created the soundtrack for Anti-Birth is going to be making a full soundtrack that he's then going to upload as a mod for Afterbirth Plus. So anybody that wants the original music by Mutith can get that and put it into their game once it's officially released. So that's really cool because, as many of you know, I use the Anti-Birth soundtrack all the time in my videos. I just think it's phenomenal. But to get a new soundtrack as well is pretty sick. So we have all of this information. Then we started to get some information from people that went to PAX. So this was on Reddit. Credit to this guy right here, whose name I'm not going to actually pronounce right now because I'm not sure whether or not I'll get demonetized on this. So he/she said that there's a couple of new items that they got to experience. So there's Giant Cell, which every time you take damage, you get a follower that mirrors your movement and fires weak tears. Spin to Win, and this one you can actually see in this clip right here. It's an active item with a bar charge. You hold it down to gain plus 0.5 speed until it either runs out or you let go. So that's kind of an interesting one, not to mention it is very, very faintly a reference to the Wheel of Isaac, and I'm going to roll with that as such. You also have Retro Vabe, makes enemies turn into ghosts upon death, and then when you press space, they explode, dealing damage but not breaking objects. Enemies can be killed by the explosions, but they don't hurt you. Also kind of a cool one. There's Vesculitis. It says clogged enemies. They don't know what that does yet. Booster Pack, which was in Anti-Birth, spawns 3 cards on pickup, kind of a cool one. There's many new bosses, so here's, you can kind of see this picture of this guy right here. He kind of looks like a turdish radish. It's obviously a poop related guy, but he spawns in Dross, and his name is Clog, and he apparently fires some poop spiral shots. He has an AoE gas field attack, spawns poops in the room, and he explodes into tears upon death. So that's pretty neat as well there. And some of this information, you can also find these screenshots and videos at the Twitter Megmouse82. Go follow her. Little shout out to her. She was at PAX and got us some information about what's going on with this new update. So that's kind of all I know. It is indeed a paid DLC. If I had to bet, it's going to be in the $15 to $20 range, which I know you're like, wow, that's basically the entire price of Rebirth. Look, this is going to be a really, really big and really, really good DLC for Isaac. And they've kind of already hinted that this is indeed the final DLC for Isaac. At this point, it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, it's the final, because every time Ed says there's a final DLC, he adds another one. So it's hard to say that this is a for sure final DLC, but this would be a way to go out with a bang. Absolutely. And for those that don't know what Anti-Birth even is, and you're sitting here incredibly confused as to what I'm talking about, Anti-Birth was a mod that came out around when Afterbirth Plus was released. Afterbirth Plus or Afterbirth? I am now completely blanking. One of the two, and it was a huge mod that added a lot to the game, and it was only available in Rebirth, so people had to kind of turn off Afterbirth Plus in order to play it, but it kind of gained a cult following, and it's insanely good. I have videos of it on my channel if you want to go find them and look at it, but there's a lot of content out there with Anti-Birth, and originally they asked, you know, the Anti-Birth creators to port it to Afterbirth Plus so that people could play it in Afterbirth Plus, and the problem was they kind of rewrote the game in a sense to work with what they want to do in it. So using the Afterbirth Plus modding tools, which many people know are not very good, it was essentially impossible to do that, you know, to use the modding tools to remake Anti-Birth in Afterbirth Plus. So I'm assuming that for the past, you know, several months, Kilburn has been really kind of rewriting Anti-Birth to fit in Afterbirth, and I'm sure that he now has some access to the actual code, because he's been working on the booster packs as well, and that's a big part as to why Booster Pack 5 was so damn good, is because Kill has been working on the team, and that guy is incredible. He's the lead dev for Anti-Birth, so he's going to be a big part of getting, you know, Repentance made for Rebirth and getting this DLC out, and having him and Ed at the helm of this DLC, it's gonna be phenomenal. And for the final chapter of Isaac, this is gonna add a lot to the game. It honestly is going to expand the shelf life of this game for another several years, which is ridiculous, because as soon as I think that Isaac dies, it just, you know, Ed adds another thing, and this is ridiculous. I mean, it really is a ridiculous thing to learn and to be able to experience most likely next year. You know, I have no reason to think that they're going to delay this any longer. If they already have a playable version of the game sitting at PAX, after all the logistics come out, I think we're going to see like probably a February, March, April release of Repentance, and then you guys can all get your hands on it. So that's all I know. If you have any questions, there's no guarantee I'm going to be able to answer it. Go check out both that Reddit user and the Twitter that I said in this video. And then also, of course, go follow Ed and Nicholas on Twitter so you guys can get the updates straight from them. But really, really exciting stuff. I'm amped to have this come out and to start making content on it. But that's going to be a little bit away. So thank you for watching. If I get more information, and this is something that you guys enjoyed, then I will absolutely make another video. I like to keep you guys in the loop, especially those of you that aren't on Twitter or Reddit or any of those other social media platforms that allow this information to come out. So I will let you guys know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. You have a fantastic day, my friends. Goodbye.